Yo, Stang, turn my phones up a bit. Ain't nothing changed, it's the same. You still skylarking. Most got stepdaddies like Harden. They hard in, fixed in their ways, they too hardened. Some got convictions, even if they apply. They the victims, ain't getting no pardon. Almanac is independent, middle finger to the warden. Free your mind, even though your body barred in. This war that I'm starting, might not want to pardon. That's what I do, that's what I do. If you're scared, stay far then. I'm prepared, ain't handing my card in. What they wanna call black is soot. Burnish bronze on the foot, charred in. Hydrogen molecule with the carbon. If you dare take a walk to the garden, send a stage for the role that I'm starting. I'm more in Black Knight like Martin. Soar, take flight like a Martian. I'm Thor, gladiator, Spartan. Still polite, a gentleman, charming. Presence like the Red Sea when it's parting. Kundalini energy when I'm charging. Like power and the force of a car wind. You know the type when you gotta keep your arm in. Why fight when you know say you're not win? Never ever could compare. Let's make it clear. From day one to day done, I'm here. I never fear. You never ever could compare. Let's make it clear. Been running this for nearly a year. I'm still prepared. Top ranking, top charting. We have it by the sticks, crates, and the carton. The highest grade of the strain that I'm sparking. Up late nights. Johnny Carson, early mornings, remember starving engraved in my mind. Carved in the golden in the past, no harping, don't be afraid or alarmed by the barking. Keep it close by a very thin margin, shadow box with a little bit of sparring. Cage fights when you fence, then you barbed in, no cavalry, desperado charging. Never ever could compare, let's make it clear. From day one to day done, I'm here, I never fear. You never ever could compare, let's make it clear. Been running this from year to year, I stay prepared. Clean up your heart, I'm cool. Cleansing the fire, don't burn. That's what I do. Don't burn. Empty out when it's out to the gun. Clean up your heart, I'm cool. Cleansing the fire, don't burn. Keep up the peace, don't burn. Empty out when it's out to the gun.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you a gangster? Gangster? Gangster?
Black power, my ass, y'all just playing the ass posing, frontin', no bustin', no dirty cock gun button. At least Moors right rich, trying to do something. Pen as my weapon, fences up and turbans, no bluffing. Don't get it twisted, sort of more get handcuffing. Judges dismiss cases, prosecutors cussing, telling my guys accuse themselves or get sued. Civil rights leaders are conscious blacks marching on news, stopping traffic of people that didn't kill their sons and daughters. In Canaanland, we call you bright and out of order. Nationality has me awake like a sleep disorder. While most wear blinders, my peripherals broader. For the record, I sweat nervous court reporters in Admiralty maritime shores. Moors walk on water. Engines return with no kills, no sight blurred. While they stay killing their minds and saying they learn.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you a gangster?
Your forefathers had names before they became slaves. Seems like today it's only nicknames and names. You should be learning so pain could stop from these vermin. German Nazi Inquisition is enslaving with sermons. Declared independence, still giving Moors reverence. Talking trees with Muslims that overall this entrance into the entrance masses. Keep them docile and passive. Killing them, corralling black, acting like hostile fascists. take oaths to break them, unless it's from the Lord. They give prophets who take them and neglect ancestors. Playing Mr. Tuffy, smoking a Dutch from the same master, bully stealing your money for lunch. Wanna drink from their bowl cause they spike their punch. With Clorox, I'm not guessing, but I have a hunch. I can say I stand up to mercenary punks while you face proposing with Glocks cocked and shotguns pumped.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster.
If you got guns and use them on targets moving, try KKK badge carriers in your hood cruising. I'm not promoting violence, it's a point I'm proving it. Moore's methods do work, but coons disapproving. Khalid calling you out, but you're attacking the sheep and wanna show me how good you are with your hands and feet. Never challenge a cop when they arresting your brother, but will wear hoods and hold skittles one after another. Acting with lethal weapons, you Mel Gibsons and gloves. Shot in the back and watching you suffer. Black standing on corners in seconds, life smothered. She forgave him for her son's death. Listen to mother, listen to common exercising his 5 senses. The end racism, stop looking through racial lenses. Look at constitutional, not civil defenses. Stop marching. The only thing that pickets is fences.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. I've never heard of it.
I never heard of it either. I don't know where they come from with this stuff. But once again, we're just here to put some things on the record so people can learn and stop playing with these clowns out here that are trying to keep them in that perpetual mental slavery. You want to say Islam to all the Moors, anywhere that you're at. If you know about your nationality and birthrights, honors to you. You also want to put on the record, got a testimonial today. Got a testimonial. So, one of the Moors, and we're going to wait till he gets the transcript. We'll just wait till he gets the transcript so we can do it properly. But, so the Moor went to the tribunal today. 5 Ray Lawson Boulevard in the corporate city called Brampton. Moore went in to the tribunal, put the prophet's book with his picture, which I think is the Moorish literature, facing toward them. Right? State his appellation, that he's in propria persona, and the administrator tells him, charges withdrawn. Speeding ticket, I think 60 in a 40 or something like that, or 60 and a 50, and they said 70 or something, whatever it was supposed to be 474 notes. Moore went up, put his status on the record, and administrator said, charge is withdrawn. So the Moore asked for a disclosure receipt. They pretty much, got him out the room quick, fast. Policy enforcer who gave him the ticket was mad. Policy enforcer was mad. And the only reason the more new policy enforcer was mad, because not only did he see him, but he also made the eye contact with him. But then immediately, the face changed to pleasant on the eye contact. Because they can't really hide good their emotions. So Ivy Man told him, go to some office or whatever, because he wanted the disclosure. And then wherever he went ended up being some prosecutor's office or something like that. So Moore just went home and then called me, told me about it. So after we spoke, we're just telling them, well, it's all about getting the proof that they withdrew it, because if you were so-called speeding and they gave you a ticket and all you did was fight it and they dismissed it, then that's how it should go all the time with anything that we get. Not that we should be getting anything, but if you happen to get something from these people, just like that is how it should work. It should work exactly just like that, no matter what the situation is. As soon as you put your status up, they're like, oh, sorry, that's not our jurisdiction. Period. That's just how it's supposed to be. Right? And again, that Moore, because he studies and because he went into the tribunal, and whatever Moors that went with him, that's who that was for. And then whoever else that was there, that got to bear witness to how it goes with Moors. That's how it should go. That's what the standard should be. Not because of some special whatever, but because these people don't have jurisdiction. We're not wards of the crown. They could only deal with wards of the state, wards of the crown, wards of the province, wards of the city, wards of the municipality, wards of whatever jurisdiction they created on paper. You're done with that? All right. Now you're in their jurisdiction. They can do whatever. Soon as you say Moorish nationality, these people are supposed to discharge anything that they have with you. Just like how they did. Remember, he got the ticket that he's supposed to pay. But then if they withdraw it, what happens to the 474? They discharge it, which is all that stuff that these people are BSing you about. All these whoever bays that have no fezzes, but they're out here doing conferences, $100 a seat for some Europeans to teach them about some 9-8 number BS when it's about nationality and birthrights. If you're a Moor, don't try to get out of some stuff if you're not a Moor. You're European, don't try to get out of some stuff. You better have some Moors backing you. which is why those Europeans have that Moor teaching them those classes. So they can say a Moor told them, which makes it kind of legitimate, but it's not really legitimate, because the truth of the matter is the Moor went to the tribunal. These people had 474 on the record that he owes no UCC1, no claiming the straw man, no none of that BS, standing on nationality and birthrights only and putting the prophet's picture up there. Let them know how real it is. And these people backed off, withdrawn immediately. No questions asked. 474, that's finance for them. That's finance for them. Because we already know it doesn't matter what they get. They want anything. They'll bring a stone in there and make a stone pay a fine. That's how they can get fiat out here. They don't play out here with getting their fiat if you're a ward of them. If you're not a ward, oh, sorry about that, discharge that, that's nothing. No UCC. None of those fake conference whatevers that people are telling you got to do in order to get, because the debt of the whatever, and then, you know, you have to do this and do that and file this and file the discharge of 474, when these people already know what's up. Nationality and birthrights. I'm not in your jurisdiction. You can't put no Negro Act stuff on me. What are you trying to do? I'm not Indian. I'm not Black Indian. I'm Moor. I'm not Black Aboriginal, whatever. Not the Black natives of don't even put me in your ward jurisdiction. I'm Moor. Know that. Just like the Moor told the Shriners at the game. No, I'm a Moor. We taught the Shriners everything they know. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense or whatever, European. Think they don't know? You think they don't know? No. To top it all off, to put the cherry on the sundae. The cherry on the sundae with the vegan whip. The clerk called him today. Tell him that the stuff's ready, you could come pick it up anytime. Who does that? They don't do that to Negroes and Indians who claim that they're recognized by the Canadian whatever. Moors are out here exercising their right. Not trying to get out of something. Not trying to get out of a ticket. You didn't say that he's a Moor because he's trying to get out of a ticket. He's a Moor. Why you even give me tickets? I'm not in your jurisdiction. And then again, you have to ask the question, you know, I mean, if he got the ticket and he gave a license, because they had to have gotten a license and a plate in order to give the ticket, then the ticket should stick. Still got off of it. And then when he went to court, he didn't stand there as some ticket name guy. I'm the ticket name guy. I'm here as the ticket name guy. And I filed a UCC1. And I claim the straw man that you guys say is me, but it's not really me, because if you say that it's me, and then none of the BS, none of the equity BS and none of that. Oh, I'm El Bay. Oh, withdrawn. Get him out of here. 474 discharged. That's how they discharge debts. They're supposed to do it. You filing papers for them to do what they're obligated to do. Discharge the debt. I'm a Moor. you already know it's only going to be a handful saved with fingers left over and all that European. So whenever Moors step up and they say whatever and they exercise their right and they seem sincere in what they're doing, you just discharge their stuff and all that. Because you know a majority of these people are want to be Negroes. They're willingly wanting to be your ward. So deal with your wards. Just don't worry about Moors. This is how it should go every single time. If a Moor has any type of whatever with any type of foreign whoever claiming that they're whatever out here. Yeah, I'm a Moor. Oh, got something to prove that? Nationality card, you know, papers, whatever. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here's your stuff back, you know. Discharged. How it's supposed to be. Just because we're not in the jurisdiction. We're not Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian, or Indian, or Aboriginal, Indigenous, Autochtons. We're Moors. We're not black natives. We're Moors. My family been in this land. My family. Come here on no slave ship or none of that BS. We've been here. When you hit an Atlantis island and there's places on the Atlantis island called Moor, whatever, not African, whatever, or nothing to do with things not relative to Moors. Up the road from where my dad grew up, there's a place named Canaan. It's been called that. It's not some Bible, whatever. It's not some Bible talk. That some people reconstructed your history, and now you're a dumbass. You don't even know what the hell's going on. Calling yourself black, and then say you're Aboriginal, and then say you're indigenous, but you're black. How are you black? How are you a black that? It's only going to make sense when you stop, breathe a little bit, and then think. Because people are just jumping from being black into being there something else without even detoxing themselves of the blackness that they've been under ever since they came out the womb. And they want to know why Moors get to the point of sometimes want to strangle people. Because why are you causing our downfall by playing this game of classifying yourself as something that you know that you're not? Because you attach some Aboriginal or autochthonous to it that makes it legit. You're not black people. You're not African Americans. You're Indian? Oh, you're African American then. Or you're Native American? Definitely you're African American then. Keep playing. Don't want to be Moors, but you want to be everything else? We're gonna go to who are the Moors, Asiatics, Americans? Are you in denial of your ancestry? Part 2 by Misery Malif L. Page 4. So right early. Not even going deep. Page 4. The Aboriginal Americans, Al-Moroccans, misrepresented as Indians, are in real fact and real law Moors. In real fact and in real law. Now, you don't hear anybody other than Moors speak in real fact and in real law. Most of them don't deal with law at all because they think about it's coming from some European or whatever, talking foolish. They don't even deal with law. They're gonna say well, ma'at and all that stuff, but they're not gonna deal with law. Hypocrites. They'll talk about their Libra and they're gonna do astrological or whatever like that, but they don't want to deal with law. That came from the European. But they're Libra though. Hypocrites. The other ones, they're not even dealing with facts. And if they are dealing with facts, they're still playing you because they should be giving you real facts. Not just facts. If they claim that they know their self and they went into the great pyramid of Egypt and all that stuff, they laid down on the pyramid and kissed stuff that's ancient Kemetic or whatever. So how come you're still Negroes? How come nothing's changing? Like I said, the more, find me some Negro, black, whoever, that went and got their stuff dismissed, withdrawn. No questions asked. Find one. You say he was Indian when he went in there. He got native rights or any type of crap like that. The true identity of the Indians of Asia is Moriensis. Morienses. Hindustani Moors, Asiatics proper. Off the strength that India is in Asia, we are family with those Asiatics. We are family with those Asiatics. We are politically collateral heirs, as distinguished from lineal heirs, to North America, Al-Morocco, Northwest Amexem. Now, Noble Drawley taught the Moors that the Moroccan Empire extended across the Atlantic Ocean onto the present North-South Central America and adjoining islands. The Moroccan Empire spread across the Atlantic Ocean to here. When the Moroccan Empire spread over here, it had to be because Moroccans came over here. Or they would call it some other empire. If it's a documented fact in world history that there's a Moorish empire and Moorish means Moroccans, then it wasn't all these different whoever that came over here in their ships and their fleets of ships or whatever like that. It was Moroccans or descendants of Moroccans. The North Africa, which goes from east to west. It's a big jurisdiction. Not just what they show you today is North Africa. Like you said, off the strength that India is in Asia. Quote unquote, Africa is Asia, South Asia. So those people that are Asiatics, they're not African. They know they're not African. They also know about the Berlin Conference, but they keep calling themselves the stuff created from the Berlin Conference, which is no different than Moors calling themselves the city of whatever, instead of what they know what it is, the Moroccan Empire. Why are you playing Turtle Islands and stuff like that? They telling me about the people who were here before the Moroccan Empire weren't dark-skinned people. Yes, they were dark-skinned people. So that would mean that they're Moors, because Moor is any dark skin. Oh, how about we just go right here, right in this book right here that you can get at rvbaypublications.com. Are you in denial of your ancestry? Part 2. Make sure you go get Part 1 so you can catch yourself up, because you're behind right now if we're referencing a Part 2. And you didn't even get Part 1 yet, but you're talking crazy about your Black Indians or whatever. Missouri Malafel. Definition of Moor. Noun, Moros, dark, from impartial reference, a member of any of the Asian or African dark races, usually adopting the Mohammedan religion. Usually adopting. Customarily adopting. But not all Moors are Mohammedan. Not all Moors are Islamic. Every Moor is not a Muslim or a Muslim. In history, a Saracen or Arab. In history, a Moor is also a Saracen or an Arab in history. So anytime you're in history and you see Saracen or Arab, know that they're talking about Moors. And if they're making reference, since we're talking about Arabs, let's go to, remember Arabs are Moors, right? Remember that part. That's very important to remember. Arabs are Moors. Remember, we're talking about America still. Don't think because we said North Africa and all that stuff and Moors and you're looking across some Atlantic Ocean into some other place. We're talking about right here, Morocco. No, we're not straying over what we're talking about right here. Now remember, we're talking about Arabs, right? We're just talking about Saracens and Arabs are Moors. And when you deal with history, when you see Saracens and Arabs, know that they're talking about these same probably Mohammedan, but not necessarily Mohammedan, dark-skinned Asiatic people or Moors. Karl Lehrberger, Secrets of Ancient America, page 326. Arab connections. Arab connections to what? Let's see. As I mentioned in chapter 1, Columbus had access to Arab maps documenting the Americas. While Europeans were struggling to emerge from the Dark Ages, Arabian merchants made maps showing the American continents. For example, Al-Masudi's Historical Annals of 942 described a voyage from Cordova, Spain, under the command of Captain Kashkash that returned from the west filled with treasures after a long voyage. Captain Kashkash, K-H-A-S-H, K-H-A-S-H. And keep in mind that historical annals of 942 describing a voyage from Cordoba, Al-Andalus. It wouldn't be Spain because Spain didn't come about till 1492. So don't get played out of your stuff by not knowing what's going on. Another account, this one by the 12th century Arabic geographer Muhammad al-Idrisi, described a trip to America by the Al-Magrurim. The Al-Magrurim. A-L, I remember, Moorish, Al, De, Ali, El, Be. Right? We had Al-Masudi before. We have now Al, remember, and then Arab connections, and then remember, Arabs are Moors. Don't let stuff fool you and see somebody look pale and you're thinking that their mom is not a Moor. Don't get it messed up. Because the melanin womb creates wonders. The Al-Maghurim brothers, 1154, took the same amount of time it took Columbus, about a month. Al-Idrisi also described rich fishing in the North Atlantic and the whalebone huts of Labrador's Inuit natives, while others described the return of boats from transatlantic voyages loaded with American tobacco. Also, Persian cartographer Hamad Allah Mustafi, map of 1350, thought to be the earliest Arabic map showing the Americas, clearly shows a large continent across the Atlantic that he called Wak-Wak, W-A-Q-W-A-Q. One of the earliest maps available to medieval European mariners from 1414 and presumably compiled from earlier Arab maps was drawn by the Venetian cosmographer Albertine de Verga. Gunnar Thompson's The Frere's Map of Ancient America also provides many other examples of European maps before Columbus, including the Yale Vineland map and the Fra Mauro map. Yale Vineland map and the Frau, F-R-A-U, Mauro, M-A-U-R-O, map. An Arabian cartographer, Jezerit al-Tanin, identified a land he called the Dragon's Isle as North America in 1424. Then there was the mythical island of Brazil, west of Ireland, which first appeared in a chart drawn by Angelino Dulcert, D-U-L-C-E-R-T, while a Catalan chart of around 1490 labels two islands, Ilha de Brazil, one of which was northwest of Ireland. Moreover, shortly after the return of John Cabot's 1497 expedition, Pedro de Ayala, a Spanish ambassador to England, reported that the land found by Cabot had been discovered in the past by the men from Bristol who found Brazil. As noted in chapter 14, McClone and Leonard discovered what they considered to be Arabic-like glyphs in the southeastern corner of Colorado. They hypothesized that a form of Talmudic Arabian script made its way to Colorado. In 1987, the two researchers sent a detailed report of the glyphs to professional scholars. 9 of the 10 semanticists who responded saw a close correspondence between the Colorado symbols and the South Semitic letter forms, using terms such as remarkable resemblance and striking similarity. Arabian coins have been found in Venezuela, while carved tokens with inscriptions have been discovered in Tennessee, Indiana, and New York, along with items containing Kufic Muslim inscriptions in Nevada, California, and Tennessee. So don't let them play you that you're not home here. Let it be known that you've been here. Been here. And not that you've been here as some black Indians or any of that BS. You've been here as Moors. Yeah, there were people here that didn't want to identify themselves as their ancient foremothers and forefathers. Look where they're at. Look at their position for not honoring their foremothers and forefathers. And it's obvious that people making certain claims of their status being that they're Aboriginal or they're Native or whatever, but not connecting to the fact that they're Moors, means they have crippled themselves and anybody else who they deal with, right? Case in point. What started at the turn of the century as an effort to gain a day of recognition for the significant contributions the first Americans made to the establishment and growth of the U.S. has resulted in a whole month being designated for that purpose. One of the very proponents of an American Indian Day was Dr. C. Arthur Parker, a Seneca Indian, who was the director of the Museum of Arts and Science in Rochester, New York. He persuaded the Boy Scouts of America to set aside a day for the first Americans, and for 3 years they adopted such a day. In 1915, get your timeline, huh? In 1915, the annual Congress of the American Indian Association, meeting in Lawrence, Kansas, formally approved a plan concerning American Indian Day. It directed its president, Reverend Sherman Coolidge, an Arapaho, to call upon the country to observe such a day. Coolidge issued a proclamation on September 28, 1915, which declared the second Saturday of each May as an American Indian Day and contained the first formal appeal for recognition as Indians as citizens. Remember, this is why we don't say this is why we say we're not Negro black colored. And we can go down the list of misnomers. Because any people out here pushing some type of misnomer is selling you out. There's no such thing as a Native American. It's American. But if they just say American, then dumb people are going to be having Europeans in their mind when they hear American. When Europeans aren't American, they're European. And the Americans are the ones who were here with the copper tone before the Europeans came here. But because you wanted to be Negro, black, and colored, and you wanted to be slaves from Africa, some other people took your seat and sold it to the highest bidder, not knowing they were selling their self out, which how they became Indian. And they now want to be recognized as citizens, but they're Indians. Citizens of what? You're a citizen. Well, boy, you're Indian. And then you're not trying to be a citizen of India. You're trying to be a citizen of U.S. Corporation. And again, this is where these people are going when they start claiming, put black in front of Aboriginal and aborigine and whatever. And play this game with you like that's legit. The year before this proclamation was issued, Red Fox James, a Blackfoot Indian, rode horseback from state to state seeking approval for a day to honor Indians. On December 14, 1915, he presented the endorsements of 24 state governments at the White House. There is no record, however, of such a national day being proclaimed. Why? Because they're playing their Indians. So if you're playing your Indian, they don't gotta put that on the books. What are they putting that on the books for? There's no such thing as Indian. You're gonna be sitting there riding the Invisible Man was riding the horse of thunder and coming down the. People are gonna look at you like you're crazy. That's why there's no record of 24 state governments recognizing or endorsing honor for Indian Day. Because claiming to be Indian, you're a fraud. And especially if you put black in front of that. They already know, it's just another African American playing like they know their self. You don't know yourself. If you knew yourself, you know that you're a Moor. Not some black aborigine. The
The first American Indian Day in a state was declared on the second Saturday in May 1916 by the governor of New York. Several states celebrate the fourth Friday in September. In Illinois, for example, legislature enacted such a day in 1919. Presently, several states have designated Columbus Day as Native American Day, but it continues to be a day we observe without any recognition as a national legal holiday. In 1990, President George W. Bush approved a joint resolution designating November 1990 National American Indian Heritage Month. Similar proclamations under variants on the name, including Native American Heritage Month and National American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month, have been issued each year since 1994. So they know what they're up to. And here's a little proclamation: National American Indian Heritage Month. This is what these so-called African Americans who don't want to be Moors, but they want to claim that they're Black Indians or whatever, this is what they're under. This is what they're under, right? They're under who sold you out to the highest bidder. Because everybody knows the code word for the native, aboriginal, indigenous, autochthonous aborigines is Moors. Everybody knows, except the people who are that. Have no idea. Lost in the sauce. Now we're just going to skip ahead because you can read this on your own. Proclamation 6230. We're just going to go right here to show you how they're playing. Young and old alike know the story of Sacagawea, the Shoshone woman who helped to guide Lewis and Clark on their historic expedition, and in doing so, helped to open the door to the Great West. The giant redwood trees protected in a number of our national parks bear the name of Sequoia, in honor of the great Cherokee leader who taught thousands of Indians to read and write, and in doing so, helped to unite and strengthen the Cherokee Nation. We also recall the achievements of Chief Curtis, the proud descendant of Native Americans who served this country not only as a member of Congress, but also as Vice President. Huh? Nothing there? Okay. However, such celebrated examples constitute only a small portion of the rich centuries-old heritage of American Indians. Indeed, each of the many tribes that have inhabited this great land boasts a long and fascinating legacy of its own. And meet the principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, Chief Bill John Baker. Cherokee Nation Chief. Rather copper tone. He looks rather American. Where's that Who Are the Moors book? Who Are the Moors by Mizraim Aleph El. American, an aboriginal or any one of the various copper-colored natives found on the continent by Europeans. The original application of the word. Now, if an American is an aboriginal and a Cherokee is aboriginal, then how come their chief doesn't fall under the 1936 definition of American? Something strange is going on. Do you know what happened? Let's just clarify what happened. Because you might be looking at this and think, wow, that's really interesting that Cherokee chief doesn't look like an American. Let's see what happened. Let's go back in history. See what happened. Once they gave you the you're Indians, and you didn't rebut, talking about you're going to take them to the gate of the Great North and all this type of stuff, or the Great West. They're gonna show these Europeans a hell of a time, even though they're calling you something that you're not. You didn't realize that now today we're trying to tell you that you're not that BS, because even the European knows, hey, when Europeans came here, meaning, us, see, I made it funny. We came here and there's people here, and we called them Indians. They called them Indians. Now, Dr. Ben told you that Moors called themselves Moors. European made that up and call us that. But we know the psychology of our people being classified as Black Indians is because European made that up. But they're sticking to that. They're sticking to being Black people. They're sticking to being what they're not, knowing that they're being called something that they're not. And again, it's fascinating that Moor is the capsule that carries all those other adjectives that they're claiming that they are. With Moor, everything's compartmentalized. You'll find about some type of history of Moors being Aboriginal. Found some history of Moors being African. You find some history of Moors being Asian. Found some history about Moors being navigators of some ships. You found something about Moors being tradesmen or engaged in commerce. You found something about Moors doing something. But we keep getting caught up in everything except Moors. And when Moors got told by Noble Juali, read your questionnaire or whatever. So you read the questionnaire, and then it gives you question and answer. And in 85, they asked, name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest Amexem by the European nations in 1774. The answer, Negro, Black, Colored, and Ethiopian. Negro, a name given to a river in West Africa because it contains black water. What is meant by the word black? Black, according to science, means death. What does the word colored mean? Colored means anything that has been painted, stained, varnished, or dyed. What does the word Ethiopia mean? Ethiopian means something divided. Can a man be a Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian? No. Why? Because man is made in the image and after the likeness of God Allah. That's what man is made in the image and likeness of. So there's no way that he could be Negro, black, colored, aboriginal, or any of that. And the reason why it's more, because land and water are relative to more, which goes back to the elements, that if the elements that came together are classified, are known as, have a status of being called more, or extremely relative to Moors, then that should be something that someone who is looking into or finding out about, or, you know, coming to the realization of this frame of mind of being a Moor, that should make you actually want to jump on this ASAP. You shouldn't even be playing like you don't know. Shouldn't even be playing like you don't know. Islam to the Moors. Peace and love once again. Right? Now, you see some BSers in the chat as usual. Oh fool, oh fool. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So yes, we're not Negro, black, colored. We are not. We are not. We are Aboriginal Indigenous. We are Aboriginal Indigenous. Sorry, Moors, I wasn't looking at the chat if you had questions. We are the natives, but I'm going to say that we're just that only. Once you put more on it, you make it a lot harder for them to just straight violate you. Well, the whole point of you declaring who you are is to make it known that you're not their property. To make it known that you're not their property. Right? Again, to put on the record, the Moor, the Mason, and the Alien. Richard Smith, A Call to Action. For all people who want to be everything in America except Moors. Want to be everything in America except Moors. The Egyptian, page 167. The Egyptian university system represented the spiritual capital that bonded the Asiatic nations together in this global movement. However, there was a second yet equally important identity for the Moorish legacy that was coming to the surface. Known as the Amexem Empire, it represented the economic ebb and flow of the Asiatic nations, the brick and mortar of the global maritime commerce for this worldwide Moorish movement. As a global identity, it was decided that the economic capital of the Amexem Empire would be Morocco, Al-Morocco. It's in the name Mor plus Arco, land of the Moors, city of the Moors, capital of the Moors. Earlier, I referred to the term Al-Morocanos in reference to America and the Western Hemisphere. Take a good long look at the name America. Haven't you ever wondered where the name actually came from? There isn't one historian who isn't left scratching his or her head wondering how some useless and insignificant European cartographer by the name of Amerigo Vespucci ever got the credit for the name America when the name already existed long before he ever came along. There is no relationship whatsoever between Amerigo and America. Guaranteed, if Amerigo Vespucci was 7 shades darker and came from Egypt, the pale-skinned academic imbeciles who fostered this lie would be the first to throw him under the bus. Al-Morocanos was the original right and proper name for the entire Western Hemisphere. From Al-Morocanos, you get Al-Morica, Al-Morocco, Al-Morocco. From Al-Morica, you get Al-America, and therefore America. The name America is a stunted mispronunciation of its original Moorish Native American designation, which was derived from its eastern counterpart Morocco and the capital of the Amexem Empire, right? Even European knows to put Moorish in front of Native American. Even European has studied enough to know in his book that he wrote that if he's making reference to Native Americans, he better put Moorish in front of it. He's a European. This is extremely significant to understand in that the nation of Morocco was the first country on the planet to ever officially recognize the fledgling 13 United States of America as a sovereign nation in the Western Hemisphere. Now you know why. As the economic capital of the Moorish legacy, the Moroccan government knew it had a responsibility to make sure that its Moorish brothers and sisters across the sea were well respected and treated equally and fairly by the new royal estates of the 13 slave colonies. This is why the Iroquois Confederation ambassadors of the Moorish legacy stepped up to the plate, serving as the transitional government so as to educate the founding mothers and fathers on what a newly emerging democracy was supposed to look like. So think about this now. You have this Iroquois Confederation serving as a transitional government, so to educate the founding mothers and fathers of the U.S. or whatever, how it's supposed to be if you're being whatever. How is it that people are trying to be part of those states instead of just being themselves before starting to do the transition or whatever? Because the whole transitional training that they got from the Iroquois was for them to do their whatever under 13 colonies. It wasn't for them to have no 50 states or whatever like that. They only have 50 states because people started being Negroes, coloreds, blacks, Indians, black Indians, Native American Indians, American Indians, etc., etc., etc. Played themselves out their own stuff. Played themselves out of their own stuff. And now they're complaining about it. Don't complain now. You should have been said that you're Moors. But now you don't want to be Moors. You want to be everything else but. Moorish World History, Virginia edition. Kerry Alendi L. MSTA 9. Hold on, hold on. Hold your horses. MSTA9.com. Chapter 12. Oral statements from the prophet. It was reported that the prophet told the Moors, when wild beasts roamed the earth in large numbers and you could hear the large birds flapping their wings at the long distance, it was the Moors that took the sword and went out and slayed the beasts so that civilization could come in. Sister M. Tiggs L. stated the prophet said, when the Europeans go back to Europe, the climate would go back to what it used to be. Something to think on. Where are they at now that we have that they would have to leave? Right here in North America. Sister M. Tiggs L. stated the prophet said, before the European came here, that the bananas were large and the grapes were four in the hand. Brother Booker T. Bay stated the prophet said the European will not be able to remove all the wealth from the land. After he goes back to Europe, mountains of gold will be revealed to the Moors. The Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali showed Brother T. Booker Bay and some other Moors one night at a spot in Chicago, Illinois, where a Moabite queen ruled from. Her name was Queen Netha, and she waged war against 5 pharaohs. At that spot, the Holy Prophet dug down into the ground and dug up a metal bar with foreign writing on it. Brother I. Cook Bay stated the prophet said the Europeans went to the Moroccan government and asked for permission to come over here to develop this land, and they were given a 50-year mandate to do so. Then the European went to an old sheik and asked him to give them some people to help them to develop this land. The sheik told them to take those Moors because they are not going to do anything. Brother O. Peyton Bay stated the prophet said, children, you are home, and the European is 5,000 miles from home, and he is going to have to take some water. The prophet was reported to have said the Moors were living up and down the Mississippi River before the European man came here. The prophet told the Moors that before the European came here to the United States, that bananas were large and the grapes were 4 in the hand. It took 2 men with hand sticks to carry 1 vine of grapes. This is revealed in Numbers 13:23. And they came to the valley of Eshcol, and from there cut down a branch with a single cluster of grapes, and they carried it on a pole between 2 men, with some of the pomegranates and the figs. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern, and southwestern shores of Africa. The book Modern Geography, Volume 2, by Benjamin Davies. Modern Geography, Volume 2, by Benjamin Davies. Also, you can get Ancient America, The Lost History of Ancient America, edited by Frank Joseph. Problems in American History. Problems in American History. Richard W. Leopold and Arthur Link. So let's see what else was going on. Oh yeah, don't forget, go to morrisdirectory.com or just take this link right here. Your True History, Moorish Americans, the Native American Moor. And this is with the good brother, Jonathan Bay. The Native American Moor. Right, again, you put the Moor on it, you take it out the jurisdiction of the ward. Once you don't put this stuff on it, trust you're going to be classified as ward, and there's nothing for you to get. Don't get caught up. A lot of people getting caught up. Like we said, the Moor just went, put his status on the record, bam, withdrawn. That's how it should be for everybody's stuff. If it's not like that, there's a problem. And the problem 7 times out of 10 is the individual. Because they haven't studied the lessons to know about their 2 selves. And to know that they have to detox from that Negro stuff. You can't be a Moor and then you're chilling with Negroes. You're going to get yourself in trouble. Because those energies aren't supposed to mix like that. Matter of fact, you're going to call stuff to you that you really don't want. And you're allowing them to call stuff to you. You end up playing yourself. This is an excerpt from the Native American Moor, Brother Jonathan Bay. We native, Aboriginal, and Indigenous Moorish Americans were in fact simply retransplanted along the coastlines to various regions in which we were culturally as well as geographically unfamiliar. An example of this would be enslaving darker-hued Native American populations from Florida and transporting them along the coastline to the far more distant regions such as Maine, Charleston, South Carolina, Mississippi, or elsewhere, to be sold on the blocks as slaves from Africa. A reviewing of the movie 12 Years a Slave will assist one's understanding of how such practices continued even after the further enslavement was prohibited in the northern states after the development of the cotton gin enriched the South causing deep economic disparities for Northerners and the Civil War which would ensue. The Civil War was never about slavery. It was purely a war of economics. The Native American victims enslaved there prior to Kunta's transport from the Maryland African slave traders block to the Virginia plantation were all native indigenous Americans aboriginal to the North, South, and Central American and adjoining island regions, transplanted from their Native American villages, towns, and yes, cities via the Baltimore enslavement routes to the Spotsylvania County, where the story of roots took place. Right, so there's so much about our history, so much. It's just amazing the work that, Moors put in to make sure our people have some type of information relative to knowing some truth. Like what Ms. put it, real facts and real law. It is just that the connection of such notable individuals are as a part of the normal public school curriculum, never connected or in actuality intentionally broken, nor are their indigenous ancestral knowledge of old ever linked to their true ancestral lineage Moors. Instead, we were simply taught so-and-so was a former slave and so-and-so was a child of slaves. And from that, we are supposed to extrapolate that they are referring to African slaves, not what was in reality a much greater number of Aboriginal and Indigenous Americans internationally recognized as far back as history has recorded as Moors. Continue to study Moors. I already know how it goes. Another one to add to the list. So we added Moer, Moer, and in Sunday's class. So today's one is Morong, Morong. Brother Rennie got an opportunity to build with a Moro brother, whose house that he's working on, and the village that the brother is from is called Morong, and it derives its name from the Moros. He was happy to know that Brother Rennie was a Moor and not black. He was happy to know that Brother Rennie identified himself as a Moor, not as black. He's from Philippines, which is nowhere around here. And he can't wait to sit down and talk some more. And you think this is a joke because the videos don't have 50,000 hits or whatever. You think it's some BS. We are gonna put it out there too. I don't care how bad your situation is. Don't get into desperate mode. Start talking about, you're gonna give finance so you can get some remedy, so somebody can help you do something, because these people are going to play you. Like we're saying, how the Moor demonstrated and the response he got is the response every single Moor that's living true to the cause and living true to the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and honoring their foremothers and forefathers. That's how the stuff's supposed to go. It's not supposed to be you, being railroaded by them and they don't know who the Moors are and all this type of stuff. It's not supposed to be that. The only reason that is because our people are not doing enough work to get this word out that we're not Negro black colored. Moors are still up in the temple singing hymns or whatever with closed door stuff. So people think that the Moorish paradigm is some BS. And that's not the case. So don't be trying to get stuff out of this and all that. Right? Don't do it. This is about liberating your mind. After your mind's liberated, then you go from there and we'll see what's good from there. But where it stands right now, do not play games. Do not play games. We want to send a big Islam to all the Moors, wherever they're at. All the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all of you. We're definitely going to keep you posted as to what's going on. But as of right now, Drew Ali Day, January 5th, 29 St. Denis, 12 p.m., 12 noon. The Moors are getting together in Canaanland to give their honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali for his solo return. Every year we have our awards. We did raffle for the first time last year. We're gonna have our vendors as usual. Of course, we're gonna have our lecturer on deck as usual. Somebody presenting something for the Moors to hold their head about and be ecstatic to know that you're tied to this culture. And also, first time for this year, we're gonna have some Canaanland Moors performances on Drew Ali Day. So it should be an interesting, very fulfilling. Oh, speaking about fulfilling, can't forget 5 Principles Catering is gonna be in the house, keeping us taken care of as far as our physical sustenance, making sure we have our vegan everything. Yes, can't wait. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love. You already know how we do. Always. Keep giving your honors. We appreciate y'all for everything that you do. Don't forget willofalah.com. Support that Moorish hip hop. Wisdom of the Womb 3-album compilation featuring Canaanland Moors and some Moors wherever they're at. And always remember, Moors, that We are all we have. If you're studious, you know about your nationality and birthrights, always remember that we are all we have. Keep studying Moors. And even though we're not Catholics, we're going to give honors to all the saints out there, all the ancestors. Thank you for being our guiding light amongst these dark-minded people out here. Honors to all the ancestors that's been watching out for all the good, righteous, truth-seeking people out there. Peace and love to all the Moors. Let's give you a little, and get you some close out. That's cause, you know, you just gotta give you something. Peace and love to all the Moors. Islam.
Watch FEMA camps and dog bounty hunters on wires. Watch out for the agents and paid off spies, never revealing the truth and concealing the lies. On surveillance blocks like Barry blocks, I'm diverting those eyes. I love nature, told don't look to the skies. Look down but I look up and see flying pies. That's just a slice of distortion. The cloud's third eyes won't be bumping into dead ends on this maze called life. More with more pride than a bunch of lions. In the ear plugs in when colonists bless sirens. I met some giants, were the giants before New York. In 88, Fleming and Park was my New York. And Mr. John Science class found out worms in pork. Around 92 is when I gave up the pork. Didn't eat lunch that day, the pepperoni slice had me sick to my stomach. Liquid would have to suffice. It wasn't a cap gun. First time I heard shots since on Sparks. 95 beat up by undies, all they followed by knocks. In a blue Toyota, I'm sure it was a Corolla. That day is when I gave up Sega Genesis controllers. Started to grow my hair, gave up the fade. I didn't kill the artist sisters. I'm not Adrian Kincaid. Even though in college that became a nickname, I wasn't going to use some demon to gain quick fame. Turning a hermit after I met Hench, I had to unlearn it and relearn everything I lost during the Holocaust. In 99 started my locks and beard. Pretty boy died. If Kincaid was convicted of murder, I almost cried. Gave up the box link. Jesus diamond halo pendant the ring. Opened my third eye, became a wise king. Life has a way of teaching if you're willing to see. Everything you think is might not appear to be. Life has a way of teaching if you're willing to see. Everything you think is might not appear to be. So just be and be receptive to what life brings. Our struggles are meant to raise queens and wise kids. Life has a way of teaching if you're willing to see. Everything you think is might not appear to be. So just be and be receptive to what life brings. Our struggles are meant to raise queens and wise kids. Circle 7 surrounded by four corners. The ritual is typical, we do it habitual. Circle 7 surrounded by four corners. The ritual is typical, we do it habitual. Circle 7 surrounded by four corners. The ritual is typical, we do it habitual. Circle 7 surrounded by four corners. The ritual is typical, we do it habitual. You want the truth? There's UFOs and underground bunkers. Still use nanotech to hunt us. Throat chakra tapper, watcher of the watchers, pulling up the skirts of the agent stalkers like dub plates and midnight marauders, stomping on e-villains, conspiring with warlords and straw guards. Tried to hide but they saw us, with candles tear the matrix, turn to sawdust.
Circle seven to all of my four corners. The ritual is typical, we do with a ritual. Circle seven to all of my four corners. The ritual is typical, we do with a ritual. Circle seven to all of my four corners. The ritual is typical, we do with a ritual. Circle seven to all of my four corners. The ritual is typical, we do with a ritual.
Too many love to use force and wasting power, leaving water running and you're not even in the shower. Class in the kitchen when I go to Palmer. On the court when the servants are on you. Ask for warrant cards and oaths of police enforcers. Only when we tell them will they do for us. Pulling out Billy bats ready for orders. Beat yourself in the head to a corpus. This ain't the 60s. I'll help Klansmen burn crosses. Suicide rhyme mission and vision got them taking losses. Codes are Morses, sung by daughters of a Sar and a set. The moon and the star orbits. Now we stand on the stage and play at auctions, getting offers to play and trade options. You have no defense, only offense. Too late, no smiles when entering GM's office. 10-year veteran treated like a novice. You could act AI, Rodman or Williamson Corliss, or act Hamilton. Why? The players won't start their own league or try. Bad ass slapping and on the defense napping and getting schooled by rookie MVP captains, flopping for touch fouls or dribbles over crossing. They should give more than they profit from endorsements, getting fined for comments when fans torment. Only GM sons can apply for ball boy employment. Got sister from the hood paid brands to sing anthems, kicked out the league for drugging and sex scandals. Only real role models, no promos for Cole Brothers. Donate on fee I made from their best-selling old novels. UPLIFTINGFALLEN, humanity.
Breathing life to this game. Anyone exploiting the art, I got to kill them. I swing my sword, they die hard. Bruce Willis, this is for the minds of the young Asiatics. The most incredible when I speak mathematics. I generate revenue, so if you see me, I'm never sleepy. I share light wherever we be, like no the last TV, I'm resurrecting critical thought when I'm expressing with a depth East Coast text. It's the return of the avatars and we catching wreck till it ain't no way left in any pin. Anywhere that we've been, we fearsome with the desire to make the peoples rise up. I'm like Enoch in this exquisite scripture diviner, paradigm shifting, rhyme designer, ascending higher. It's the sire, it's none liver, sons wiser. The Nazarene dream, lyrical messiah, building like a carpenter in Versailles. Hard body with the style, like the ancient poets from the distant past, with skin that was burned like grass, conducting like gold. That's melanin or melanine. I'm still in the limelight from any scene in the flash, like I wear a mask made for skiing. The pristine is MC when I'm teaching, never preaching. When I conceive, birth beneath the same degrees that was locked within my genes when my mother first perceived that I was coming into being. Basically, I'm the best at passing any trial or test. When I reach them on the path, rise above them like cream with supreme class. Ever why the MCs when I spaz. And the wealth stacking is in action. The precious metal snatching, forging the justice sword slashing. Olive skin, Moorish assassin with woolly hair on my vein. The hardest spitting since 16. Because I studied like a fiend. And now I smoke mics like Gil Scott is hair on. Some we reigning and from here on we slay men who fake illumination for their own personal gain. And the new Moors is here, yo, it's time for changes.
Yo, IHF to the core empowers me. Super Saiyan levels, Dragon Ball Z. Even if you see me, you don't see me. Alchemy equals backwards in my trees. How they make the fruits with no seeds in the trees. I'm supernatural. Make this stuff with ease, like my nuts blowing in the breeze. Fund your system. As they walk in the streets, it's Car City. My heart is for my people. Spiritual war, heavy artillery, full mental store. Blood and gut spills, faces get torn. So I drop bombs of melanin on the unborn. Ultimate darkness crushes the fake masses. Mess around, get turned out like jackasses. We are the chemistry, get studied in classes. Fly by pit trails, leave rashes on asses. This stuff ain't for the weak, not for the savages. Sight beyond sight, leave murmur and bandages. Circle 7 light, man they can't handle this. Shine that bright. get shook in my presence. Don't make me have to stub nose you with my silence. My essence crushes evidence and tends to resistance. Mother Earth gon' shake, man, and rackle the pestilence. No chemical injections, aka vaccinations. My spidey sense went off, time to switch locations. Locations.
Something surrounded by four corners. The ritual is simple, but we do it a ritual. Something surrounded by four corners. The ritual is simple, but we do it a ritual. Something surrounded by four corners. The ritual is simple, but we do it a ritual. Something surrounded by four corners. The ritual is simple, but we do it a ritual.
Don't ask me if it's a just war. That's not up to us. To us, it's just war.
Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time.
Crossing enemy lines, war morals entangled. Once they show me the ropes, I show you warrior strangle. Separate bodies, 6-degree angles. High caliber grip when he rambles. From his tip, bionic lip equipped with the handles. Could have careers crippled in shambles. As vandal, Michael Jordan fans know nobody fucking with my ammo. Nightmare to the son of Samuel. Spit with the camels, my energy's camel. Anger I channel, use it like a radical Tamil. Got tried as a terrorist, then my hammer spat at your panel. Weapons are formed, had to dismantle. Handle it manual, left it to God. I'm on the path to a manual. Such a thriller, feel of a life giver. I catch your body, I deliver. You catch your body, you a killer. So I'm not your typical trigger. Every time I rhyme, I pull a trigger.
Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time.
Not like a Uzi, I'm a broken toolie in a ghetto movie. Might explode if you let them use me. Usually cool, I.E. to identify me. You should probably be thinking highly. Trying to find wisdom where I be. While I be dodging, listening, missing the missiles whistle by me. Wonder what they pay to try to buy me. Kingfisher play to ban me. Got me thinking all I need is my family. Sometimes I think all I need is a Grammy to cure the Alzheimer's, to cure my granny, and anyone who understand me, even the ones that try to ban me. We all kids if the world is candy. Watch what you hand me, I won't let you hang me. I'm never going back to that place again. On a new path, not a pace of sin. You should play it back, you should take it in. I tied up one of my homies' legs, one of my homies' arms. Hope to die before losing my one and my only mom. Terror in my eyes, you worried about Saddam. I watch the temperature rise between niggas who get it on. When you hear the song, the message has no discretion. Pull up in the tanks so the people know my aggression. Store Hannibal's weapon. Try to test him when class is in session. He'll dissect the lesson. Leave your body parts in the West End.
Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time.
Alright. Various things we learn as we live, like the experience, wisdom to give attention to that self that's in. Time has been the main form of this verse's measurement. It's evident based on life's compliment that we were represent. Still we're meant to do more. Whispers a voice at the core, which turns into a roar whenever we rhyme on the floor. Memories before now, happily reflecting how prophesizing on monopolizing like they do the cow. Correction, since they refer to deal with deception in all direction, is for self-inspection into perfection. No perplexing, just speaking, respecting those that's teaching, reflections that are reaching to that point where they preaching. The concept of borderlines, intertwine out an angel, either in a demon spot, my cons, always ready to bail, feeling the battle drills, knowing that we will. Two is necessary to hail the ill to the mind of a soldier, growing in the north colder. So consequently, as we've gotten older, gotten bolder, rhyme solo when the head trigger that pioneer spirit. Hear it, inform it, and spit it out a conduit, no doubt. We about profitable gain, Gucci check a leak of change. Similarly, you're not the same as those who deceive to get pain. Emphasizing time to strain, focusing on loss and pain. Tearing like the rain, we switch up add on as we maintain.
Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time.